Good afternoon and welcome to Montgomery County Business Connections. We're on standby for a minute to see if our interpreter is able to join us. There's a technical glitch. We will wait 5 or 10 seconds. Okay, for those of you who need interpretation, you can try the globe at the bottom of the screen. It may start a little bit late. We're having technical difficulties today with our Spanish-English simultaneous interpreter getting connected. So welcome. Once again, this is Montgomery County Business Connections. Many of you have, my name is Judy Costello. Many of you have tuned in over the past few months at this time to watch and listen to the experts speaking on the economic recovery and revitalization town halls. You've learned about COVID, you've learned about resources and things that can help you. We're going to continue with that, but because there's some light at the end of the tunnel with COVID, we're going to take this platform and spotlight more of the Montgomery County resources to help you grow your business, and also let you meet Montgomery County businesses who've been able to grow through Montgomery County resources. Before I move on to anything else, let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm Special Projects Manager in the Office of County Executive. My passion for retail and entrepreneurship started long ago when I was on a farm. That was my first exposure to retail. They have a wholesale bakery, meat, and native plants. So I left ag business and went to work and support early stage tech entrepreneurs in Northern Virginia for a number of years, helped with funding and other resources to help them grow. More recently, for the last decade, I was focused on supporting biotech company business growth here in Maryland and across the region. So when the county executive asked me if I'd support businesses large and small and help them find resources and overcome obstacles, I said I would join his team, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm involved with this program. So welcome. We're going to be talking business soon, but first, we are still in the middle of dealing with a major public health issue. So I'd like to reintroduce to you Earl Stoddard, our Assistant Chief Administrative Officer, and Sean O'Donnell, the county's HHS Public Health Emergency Preparedness Manager, who will share some updates for you. Earl?
Good afternoon, and thank you all for having us back. I'm going to turn this over to Sean pretty quickly. Obviously, a lot going on in Montgomery County right now. If you've been tracking with the Board of Health, County Council mask requirements, they did pass an amendment to the mask order earlier this week that would require 7 days of substantial transmission. I do believe that we are going to avert having reached that threshold with the numbers that CDC reports later today, at which point we will reset the clock for the mask order or mask mandate to go back into place from the county council's or Board of Health's order. So with that in mind, obviously we're continuing to track the numbers and report them on a daily basis. And obviously we've been riding that line up and down, and we're hopefully likely to stay more below it than above it, but we're going to continue to monitor that. Other than that, obviously, we've been focused on several additional areas of emphasis, and I'm going to let Sean talk about the biggest one, which is our vaccination effort here in a second. The other big thing we've been doing is focusing on trying to reduce the number of quarantines in our school system, which obviously should help the business community, because less kids quarantines means more worker availability for you all, less childcare issues and other issues that parents often face when the schools are quarantined or keeping kids out of school. So we're hoping that will have a positive impact on parents, educators, businesses, and the like by keeping more well students in the classrooms safely. So those changes will take effect on Monday. And then obviously the other really big thing that we're going to talk about today is the 5 through 11 year vaccination program. I'm going to let Sean talk about that, but obviously it's a major milestone for parents as well. Will really allow us to move into the next phase, and what really should be our last phase of this response with getting those young children vaccinated in great numbers and allowing our vaccination rates to shine. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean and let him talk next about sort of some of the details of what I've already described and also this vaccination effort.
That's great. Thank you, Earl. And while Sean's loading his slides, I want to encourage anybody listening in to feel free to ask your questions via chat for Earl and Sean O'Donnell.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to see my my screen right now? Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to move through fairly quickly on this. I think that everyone is aware that the county's website has this data on a dashboard. It's updated daily. As Dr. Stoddard mentioned, our rates have been improving, such to the point that we've been able to remove the mask mandate. We are in moderate transmission rates with 50 cases per 100,000 over the past 7 days, slightly under 50 cases. Our test transmission rate is also very low at 1.4%. You can see from the graph on the left that latest series of spikes related to the Delta variant has steadily come down. We had a little bit of an increase over the past week, which caused some concern about whether we would reinstitute the mask mandate or not. And again, it's continuing to modestly trend down, but we've been at a fairly similar rate now for just over a week at right around the 50 mark. We hope that those will continue to come down, especially as we begin vaccinating more of our younger people. To share with you the numbers of our vaccination rates. Again, 90% of our eligible population up until Wednesday afternoon, that was 90% of our eligible population was fully vaccinated, with a very, very high percentage getting at least a single dose. Now that that age limit's gone down to 5 years old, we'll start to update how this report is shared going forward. We will continue to track again where we're seeing higher rates of transmission. As you can see from the county graph on the left, we are seeing higher transmission at the moment in some of our northern zip codes, as well as slightly higher along our eastern front. But mostly our transmission levels have been very good, or at least they've been improving. As you can see from the lower point, the populations who are making up our current cases and our hospitalizations are still, the majority of them are coming from our unvaccinated population, which is a very small part of our population. So our highest priority is getting everybody their first and second doses of vaccine to try to reduce, again, our cases and our hospitalizations. Booster shots are now widely available. Regardless of what vaccine you got originally, if you are at higher risk for COVID, you are eligible for a booster shot once you reach a certain time period. For Johnson & Johnson, it's only 2 months since you got your first dose. You're recommended to come in and get a booster shot. For the other two, for Moderna or Pfizer recipients, it's 6 months since your second dose. And then we're recommending anyone over 65, once it's been 6 months since their second dose, gets a booster. Individuals over 18 who have an underlying medical condition or an occupation that puts them at greater risk are also recommended for a booster shot. We're not asking for any particular verification of those conditions. You just have to attest that you're at a higher risk. And now you can select which booster you'd like to receive. In the past, you had to get the vaccine that you had previously, but now you can mix with a different vaccine. That is subject to availability. So you may want to check with the location you're going to for a booster shot to make sure they have the vaccine you need, and then make an appointment at that time. Most sites are doing walk-ins for the vaccine, but that's just a recommendation so that you can save some time. For the pediatric vaccinations, we went through a few weeks of our federal partners reviewing the data, the safety data, and making the decision that they agreed that the Pfizer vaccine was safe for 5 to 11-year-olds. That authorization came on the 2nd, and yesterday the county began doing vaccinations at our sites. We'll continue to do that as we get vaccine coming in. What we've learned is from the state that the majority of vaccine that was allocated to Montgomery County was going to pediatric practices or other family practices. The county did get between 13 and 14,000 doses into it, but we are also sharing those with some of our community providers to try to ensure that vaccine is available throughout the county. We do recommend that families who are looking to have their 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated check with their pediatrician first or their healthcare provider first to see if they have vaccine. That is still rolling out from the manufacturer to providers. So we just urge people to have patience. Not everybody has vaccine in hand at the moment, but it is coming in. We do recommend, because of the timetable of vaccine coming in, that if you're going to get vaccinated for a 5 to 11-year-old, you need to confirm that you have an appointment or that the site will allow you to come without an appointment. All of the county sites right now are requiring appointments to ensure that we have enough vaccine for the folks who are coming out. We do estimate that there's between 95 and 105,000 5 to 11-year-olds in the county. Close to 40,000 vaccines came in the first week. So that is, even though I'm saying there's a limited amount of vaccine, it's far, far better than when we had the adult rollout in January and February. It took months for us to be able to have enough vaccine to meet the demand. Here, it will likely take weeks before we have enough vaccine to meet the demand. And of course, this is a 2-dose vaccine for 5 to 11, and they'll be recommended to come back after 3 weeks to get their second dose. So in order to make this more accessible to the county, the vaccine that we're getting, we're expanding our hours starting today. Our clinics will be going until 8 p.m. at the county sites, and we'll be doing pediatric doses between 4 and 8 p.m. with an appointment. Prior to 4, we're focusing on those individuals who need a first and second dose, who are adults or at least over 12, and anybody who needs booster shots. We will have a limited amount of Pfizer for 12 and above at our evening clinics as well. We are trying to bring more of that vaccine in so that we can do more of those. One second. So we are also, this is just to give you an idea. We expect that our county's parents will bring their kids out very quickly. This is what we saw when the last time that vaccination age was expanded. A huge percentage of people came out in the first few weeks. We're working to ensure that the vaccine that's coming into the county is equitably distributed. So we are looking at a number of data points that we have each week. Where are lower vaccination rates, both historically as well as we roll this out? What parts of the county are having more difficulty getting vaccinated, and we can increase our efforts to vaccinate in those areas. We're also looking at portions of the county who have had a disproportional impact to COVID, such as zip codes that have higher case rates, and racial and ethnic disparities in access to vaccine and in outcomes to COVID. So where I'm sharing with you right now a map of where in the county our current Monday to Friday clinics are. We're in the East County Recreation Center, the Silver Spring Civic Building, Montgomery College in Germantown. There's also a site that's 6 days a week at the Lake Forest Mall. That is something one of our partners has contracted for. We're still waiting to find out when they will have pediatric vaccine at that site. We also run some weekday clinics at Montgomery College in Rockville and at Dennis Avenue. You will want to check to see which of these are doing pediatric doses, though. All this information is on our website. We are releasing appointments. At this point, it's been daily. We release appointments for upcoming clinics. And so we message out through social media, through the county's Twitter feed, to give people advance notice of when those appointments will be released. We also are working with our MCPS partners and other county agencies to help get appointments out in an equitable fashion. So it's not just first come, first serve. For this weekend's appointments, which are going to happen at 12 school sites across the county, we've done that where we've made some appointments through the school system to ensure that every school cluster has access to appointments. We're also at noon today released additional appointments out to the public to make appointments at these clinics. We'll have more than 7,000 vaccines administered over the weekend at these sites. We're working with our transportation partners, both in MCPS and Department of Transportation Services, to increase access to those sites. Also, there's also other tools that individuals who need support in getting transportation to a site can avail themselves of. And finally, both the county and our public school partners are doing outreach efforts to try to encourage both younger populations and the slightly older populations to come out and get vaccinated. Messages are being released through a variety of media sources. And again, we're just encouraging folks to get vaccinated. We know that there's not enough vaccine for everyone to get vaccinated at week one. I know there's a little bit of frustration as they're trying to get these appointments, but we're asking people to have patience. It will happen faster than the adult rollout. We're just waiting for additional vaccine to come into the county.
Thank you, Sean. And Earl, what a ton of work that you have done and are partnering with the school system and our providers to get this out so quickly. And that's why we're, thanks to your work, that Montgomery County is leading the country in the percent among the country's leaders in the percent of the population that's vaccinated. We did have a question. I know you talked a lot about the pediatric vaccines, but we had a question about boosters. Earl, maybe you want to take this one. Someone from the Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce said she thought that boosters were available to anyone who met the time eligibility.
That's not entirely accurate. So if you've gotten a Johnson & Johnson dose, everyone who got a Johnson & Johnson dose who's waited 2 months is now eligible for getting any other dose of vaccine they want, Moderna, Pfizer, or another Johnson & Johnson dose. If you got the 2 series of Pfizer or Moderna and you're 6 months out, you must also be one of the qualified categories, which is anyone over the age of 65, anyone 18 to 64 with an underlying health condition as shown and described, or anyone 18 and over, or I think anyone in the age category who does a high risk job, meaning healthcare worker, first responder, teacher. I think you even described grocery store worker. There's a laundry list of those on the county's website as well. Those are the categories. If you got a Moderna or a Pfizer vaccine previously that you'd be eligible for a booster in this case.
So that list on the county website, I think that's montgomerycountymd.gov/COVID-19.
Right on the main page, you click on the COVID information. There's a tab for vaccine, and right there on the front page that talks about there's a category for 5 to 11. There's a category for boosters. Click on those links, and it'll provide you all the information that I've just described.
And I would just add on to that, the expanded CDC guidance is if you believe your occupation or your living situation puts you at a higher risk for contact with unvaccinated individuals who are not part of your family, you would fit that criteria. So the listings of occupations are suggested occupations that fit that. But if you just have to say you're at a higher risk occupation and you are eligible for a booster. We've had certain groups reach out to us and say, well, this is what we do. We're in contact with lots of public people, but it's a slightly different occupation. I said, yep, you sound like you're at higher risk because you're in contact with lots of public people who could be unvaccinated. Now, hopefully in our county, there's not that many people who are unvaccinated, but again, we're not asking for any documentation.
So there's a comment, not sure that is widely known and differs from the state. I'm not sure if it differs, but I know from family and friends that people differ in their interpretation of whether they're in high risk or frontline. I had someone say if you had a BMI over 25, or if you had some mental health issues, that they could now go in and get a booster. Is that true?
I'm sharing with you. I don't think you're going to be turned away at the sites you go to. I can't speak to how, say, our pharmacy partners or other healthcare providers are making that interpretation, but I would be surprised if you were being turned away at a site if you're asking for a booster and simply say you fit into one of those categories.
That's what I've heard anecdotally as well. Any other questions? So you're going to be busy this weekend, 7,000 vaccines into our young heroes' arms. Thank you for all the work you both do and your teams are doing with us. We appreciate your time here today.
For having us. Look forward to being back.
All righty, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you very much. Okay, so next on the agenda, we do like to share information about grants if they can help you related to COVID. And we do have some news that, and the website will be shared here in a second. But thanks to the federal government through the Maryland Department of Commerce, the county will be offering an online sales and telework grant in the next couple weeks. The application period will be open. This is pending the approval of our colleagues at County Council. But the funds have been appropriated to the county from the Maryland Department of Commerce. And the focus of this grant is for small businesses in Montgomery County who are selling products and services and can benefit from some additional visibility. You want people to see your website or your Facebook page and learn about your food products, your fabric products, whatever it is that you're selling. There's a two-part application, two-part process to the application. The first is that you will submit basic information with your store or your service and the website, and you'll submit that at Visit Montgomery on the website listed here. You'll do that, and that will get you listed in a Discover MoCo-Business directory. You'll be in that directory starting later this month indefinitely. And that directory, powered by our friends at Visit Montgomery, will enable you to visitors to the site to connect directly to your store, and it will enable you to offer specials and coupons electronically. So that's the first part of the grant application process. You submit a listing to the Discover MoCo-Business directory listing at Visit Montgomery County site. But then what's cool is that there's funding attached to this. After you register with Discover MoCo, assuming you fit the state criteria, which include your being a small business in good standing with the state, et cetera, there's more information listed on our websites, you can apply for funding. The funding will be distributed on a pro rata basis, so we're not certain how much funding you will get. The grant applications will be open for a week, but we expect that the funds that you'll receive will be at least no less than $500 and at most $10,000 by law. You're probably going to be able to get $500, $1,000, or $2,000 to help you with your business. The purpose of the money is to help you make your website or your Facebook page or whatever your e-commerce capability is better, so that when Discover MoCo customers find you through Discover MoCo, they can see your products and services easier. If your site's already up and good and you need help to pay staff to take those phone calls and process the orders, the funding also can be used for telework support. So there's more detail on the sites. I just mainly wanted to give you and your peers a heads up that the application period will be coming up in a couple weeks. Again, all this is pending council approval, funding from the federal government through the state. So enough about that. Let's learn about a Montgomery County business resource. It's right here in our backyard, the Maryland Women's Business Center. I don't know how many of you know about the Maryland Women's Business Center, but it's headquartered right here in Rockville. Even though it serves a lot of the state, the county supports the center because of many of the clients that they have. And we are privileged today to have Martha Jimenez and Nestor Gavadia from the Maryland Women's Business Center. Hello, Martha. How are you?
Hello, Judy.
Welcome. Can you tell
Thank
us what the Maryland Women Business Center is?
Absolutely. Thank you, Judy, for having us. Maryland Women Business Center is an initiative of Rockville Economic Development, which is a public organization. And basically what we do is assisting women entrepreneurs, but not only women. We really are open for everyone in Montgomery County who wants, actually in Maryland state, who wants to start a business or grow their business, which is our mission. Yes, go ahead.
1 second, I apologize for interrupting you, but I see our interpreter has now joined us. So if by chance anybody is online who would prefer to have simultaneous translation, please hit the globe under interpretation at the bottom of your screen so you can hear everything Martha's sharing with us. Go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So for our interpreter, he can just translate for everyone who is here and wants to open a business or wants to grow a business, or if they have any kind of business issue, this is the place where they can have any kind of solution. We provide any kind of services, starting for training, one-on-one counseling session, but also we host 2 or 3 different special programs in Montgomery County that we are very happy to replicate soon in other counties. Today, we're going to talk about our job in retail business, retail incubator in Montgomery County, and also about our child care program.
So before we talk about those 2 special programs, you for years were doing training, if I recall, how to start a business, how to write a business plan. Can you give a sample of some of those classes? And did you pivot to online during COVID, or has that still been happening?
Absolutely. Before COVID, we used to do, personal training, but right now everything is virtual, everything is online, and we have a, plenty offer of training and all kind of business aspect related. But for sure, we have a special programs like a business plan competition. We have also international program. We have a procurement program series. Right now, we are launching our leadership program called We Grow, and more opportunities to learn about businesses. If you a business aspect, if you as a business owner wants to be, more prepared to handle and manage your business, go to our website, and you're gonna have a lot of different opportunities to be training in business.
Are there fees for these programs, or?
Most of them are free. We are, like I said before, we are a nonprofit organization, so most of our services are free.
And do you provide one-on-one advice? We have someone who's reached out by chat, and I encourage anybody else who has questions to do that as well. She says, I'm a new sole proprietor in healthcare. How can I get help and assistance to start my business, create a website, or have a mentor for a healthcare private business? Is that something the Maryland Women's Business Center could?
It is exactly what we can do. Basically, yes. She can just reach our website or our email address. We can just share our information before to leave, and we're going to be more than happy assisting you. Absolutely, yes.
That's exactly what you do. That's great. So,
exactly.
What I know we don't have a lot of time, but you mentioned childcare is something that you've been working with, and I think
yes,
you're another counselor with your organization. Hi, Nestor, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about programs that you offer directly, and I think with a partner, right, for Montgomery County child care providers?
Yes, thanks, Judy. As part of the special services, the Maryland Women Business Center created the Child Care Development Program in 2015 in partnership with the Montgomery County Child Care Resource Center, where we assist Montgomery County child care centers and family child care providers in all business areas. As Martha mentioned it before, we provided technical assistance to 101 business counseling sessions, several trainings related to child care businesses, how to open a business, how to open a website, finance, accounting, tactical improvement. Obviously, through the pandemic, we assisted providers with more specialized training due to the circumstances, such as how to apply for loans, for grants, and how to guide them to complete those requirements for a loan or for a grant in general. At the end, our main goal is to help childcare providers to run a successful business.
And I understand you helped a lot of childcare providers, and we have two here today, Annie and Julio. You're welcome to turn on your video and join us. But Nestor, can you share about how many childcare providers you helped and what the grant funding that you gave?
Yes, through the past 3 years, we supported about 440 childcare providers in Montgomery County. And the number is amazing and keeps growing. And through the pandemic, we have obviously more exposure to reach out to more of them, especially for grants and loans applications.
Well, you not only help the 400 childcare providers, but you help dozens and dozens and dozens more families who trusted the childcare providers with their children. And Annie, Julio, welcome. So you both, I understand, run each of you separately. We run two different programs. Let's see, Annie, you're with the Montessori preschool, and Julio, you're with Marlene's daycare. Is that correct?
That's correct. And thank you. So yes, I am a provider. My program is a Montessori program, and I'm in Germantown. I started my program in the middle of the pandemic. It was September 2020. Obviously, I started thinking about it before without knowing that we would go through this, right? So no one was prepared for it. And I was divided between, should I wait until the pandemic's over? Because I was in the middle, licensing, documentation, collecting everything I need, a space in my home. And I received my license September 4th, 2020. And it was a moment of, what do I do now? I have lost my job, which I was working for 10 years in childcare center in different preschool. And right when I decided to, be on my own and be a business owner, this happened. But because I heard from someone, a provider colleague, about the Maryland Women Business Center, they just held my hand, I would say, kind of held my hand, guided me through, and I was able to survive. Not only with her help and the support, which was awesome, with trainings, learning about, how to report taxes and learning about the different options out there, as Nestor just mentioned, the different grant opportunities, the loan opportunities. I was open to keep my doors open till today. I'm still, business is still not where we want it to be, but I'm feeling more confident because of the things I've, done with the Maryland Women Business Center.
Well, congratulations on opening and making it through some very tough times. You're talking about not only that Nestor and the Maryland Women's Business Center helped you with certification and licensing, but the business of running childcare, when you mentioned center, when you mentioned taxes and stuff. And I have forgotten to mention that all the services that Martha mentioned before and that Nestor just talked about at the Maryland Women's Business Center actually are also open to men. And Julio, I think, will be able to attest to that. Julio, tell us about your interaction with the Maryland Women's Business Center, please.
Beautiful, thank you. And good afternoon, everybody. Yes, in my case, like Annie was saying, everything is 100% exactly like you said. In my case, under my context, it's been a little bit different, meaning the following. I was not a daycare provider. I had a relative, my mother, who became ill with Alzheimer's. So I've had two types of COVID-19, one outside and one inside as a caregiver. So I've been a caregiver since then, and I made a transition. And thanks to the Child Care Resource Center, they somehow asked me, or they told me about the Women's Center. And I contacted Martha and with all that, because it was like a nightmare when the pandemic started. Well, briefly, I started doing the daycare with the family in 2003. It was never closed. It's been very successful. Probably 80 children have passed by my small center. I've been trying to grow and expand a little bit with some difficulties, of course. So the first time we closed was actually with the pandemic. So thanks to the Women's Center and all the information they provided, They kept constant and efficiently through emails, even though I did not have the time because it was kind of a chaos type of thing. They contacted, they were there doing trainings, and whenever I could assist, they were there providing the grants or, providing the information for the grants. And it was incredible. I'm very, I don't know if this is the right word, but they're like angels for me during this hard time, to be honest. So thank you so much. I take the opportunity to all of you. And it's been great. One of the things that I've learned and we have the willingness as small home child cares, the willingness to expand. And one of the things that I've noticed, is nobody's fault, of course, is the fact that it's finding capital money to like expand. And the grants have come very handy, but sometimes, the requirements are getting more and more due to the pandemic. There are more requirements and things like that. So we need to be more professional, get ready, be prepared. And that's one of the things that me as an owner have been observing, that lending opportunities for us is kind of hard, very difficult to prove an income because the income is come from self-employment. So, but overall, the energy, what we've done, what the community has done as a community has been more and more than incredibly, I don't know, miraculous. It's been great through the hard crisis. So that's been my observations, my perception based upon everything that's been going on. So I really thank you. I mean, that's been my experience. So thank you for the resources, and thank you to these guys and all the, that are available to help us. So that's been my.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and the 80 families or 80 children, also benefit. So you have an extended family, and I'm hearing a common theme there, that the technical assistance helping you with the business of childcare, not just taxes, but documenting income so that you can get lending. And stuff is important. And you've been able to do this through the pandemic virtually, or by phone or Zoom or Teams. Esther, how do you set this up when you meet someone like Julio and Annie?
Actually, one of the few things that the pandemic brought to us was more to reach out more people through Zoom calls, Zoom video conferences. And we have an hour or an hour and a half with each provider, with each client, where we make an assessment, we analyze what the business is, where they're going, what they have, what resources they have, what's the plan, and we guide them, as Annie mentioned before. We hold hands to hands and help them to move forward along with the mission and vision they have for the business. But we use most of the time right now Zoom, Teams, any digital platform online to reach out to clients.
Working online. And what's the one piece of advice, Annie and Julio, that you would give to someone thinking of starting out as a child care provider in Montgomery County, besides contacting the Maryland Women's Business Center?
I would say that will be the number one step. And I mean, for me, because they not only that they will provide what they know, right, about the business side, but they will also connect you with other local organizations that can help you in other areas that you might be thinking of. I will say be positive and have a plan. Even though sometimes having a plan and doesn't mean the plan will happen exactly how you have it written down. But create a plan in your mind and be confident and learn about it, reach out. There's a lot of support out there. And of course, you said not to mention them besides them, but that will be my number one resource, because they can give you the connection. If there's something that, I don't know if there is anything they cannot help you with, but if there's something you're thinking about and you're not sure if they can do it for you, they will just give it, they will connect you with others in the community that will help you with anything else you need.
That's awesome. And Julio, anything to add to that?
Oh my goodness, what can I say? I would say probably have the passion to work in this area, have the patience and the tolerance, because whatever's happening is nobody's fault. In other words, we need to accommodate and be flexible to whatever is happening. Just like be prepared, just get educated on all the things that are out there. And when it comes to this type of organizations, either public and private, and particularly WBC, I would like to use the word octopus. Like they are like octopus with different hands, and they can connect you with oneself to anyone out there that is willing and have the information to provide you so that we can create this puzzle, you know, and set up a new business. So that would be my suggestion.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Because they are an octopus, we're going to meet some of the other arms working in the retail incubator next. But thank you both for your time. Congratulations on persevering. And thank you on behalf of all the moms and dads who I know are grateful that you are there. So we look forward to hearing of your continued expansion moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Nestor. So Martha, now I'd like you to share about what you would like to share about Shop Local. It's, I think, the only retail incubator in Maryland and one of the few in the country.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit
So,
about.
let me use our analogy, Judy. You know, I used to say that the business center are like the hospital for the business. So our retail business incubator is like a neonatology area of the business on the retail industry. We have created a beautiful program thanks to the sponsorship of Federal Realty, who provide us the place in Montgomery County in Rockville. And in that place on the Maryland Avenue, we have the opportunity to host between 6 to 7 vendors. And I'm gonna ask Sylvia to open the camera. Maybe after the video, they can see part of our store. But in that place on the Maryland Avenue, we have the opportunity to host 6 to 7 vendors per cohort. In that place, we receive women who are struggling with their businesses in many ways. Hopefully, when they don't have the opportunity to start in the right way because they don't have access to capital, because hopefully they don't have enough opportunity to grow, or because they don't understand the industry, or because they don't have enough resources to pay their own place. So in this area, they don't pay any rent. We are covering some of the utilities, and they have a certain period of the time to grow their business. During that period, they used to be training, they used to receive counseling session 101 with a specific action plan. Every single vendor in our Shop Local, Maryland Women Business Shop Local, they have changed their life. So we have the opportunity, and we are very proud to talk about Shop Local. Today, also, we have 2 graduates from our program and 1 current vendor who can tell the story in their own words, and they can just express how the Shop Local program works and how their life have been impacted by this program. It's our program. This program is in Montgomery County, open for everyone. We also have a website that you can just take a look. And I'm very proud about this program. We had the opportunity to have Mr. Ehrlich in the past, and also you, Judy.
Yeah, so we have pictures there for those who haven't stopped by. You might, or those who maybe have driven through Rockville Town Center. On the bottom left, you'll see the address there, 36. It's not Gibbs. What's the street address there, Martha?
Maryland Avenue.
36 Maryland Avenue. Thank you. And these are pictures from inside the retail incubator, where there are 5 or 6 separate shops with women who we're about to meet. For example, I think Lily and Maria are here. Are you on? You're welcome to turn on your. Thank you, Maria.
Hi.
It looks as if you might be in the store right now.
Well,
Cheers,
I am in a special event right now, but thank you for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about what is the name of your store? What do you sell, and how did the Maryland Women's Business Center help you?
Well, the name of my store is La Mimi Boutique.
Whoops, we can't hear you, Maria. I'm sorry.
Her name is La Mimi Boutique. Apparently, she's having some.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes. So
Yeah.
Well, yes, I was saying that the name of my store is La Mimi Boutique, and thanks to the support that I have received from the Women Business Center, I have been able to expand and establish my business in a more real way. Before, it was more like I was an entrepreneur, but it was a hobby. But during the pandemic, I became a single mom and I didn't have any source of income. I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. And I reached out to Martha because I had this idea of creating my business of handmade curated artisan gifts from Latin America. And she guided me step by step on what I needed to do or what I needed to have in order to make this happen. Definitely the opportunity of being in the shop has been amazing. I have a source of income now that is, I'm a head of household, so I need it definitely. And during the process, it's not only the time that I spend there at the shop. She also reached out to me to help me out, you know, like give me the tools to help me with finances, marketing strategies, give us the opportunities to reach to or apply to all the grants available for us in the county. Yeah, definitely it has been a lifesaver, I would say, really. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Yes.
That's awesome. And Lily, are you on?
Oh,
Lily?
yes, yes. Hello, everybody. I'm very thankful to be here. Thank you for having me on. I am one of the first graduates from Shop Local, and I've been working with the Women Business Center and specifically with Marta Jimenez since 2017, when I was doing more of a wholesale of.
Sorry, maybe someone could mute. 1 second, Lily. Maria, perhaps you could mute, please. Thank you. Okay, Lily.
Yes, I'm sorry. And I'm extremely thankful to the center, namely Marta Jimenez, giving the numerous counseling sessions on one-on-one and organizing and giving specific detailed plans how to approach a business, how to organize and move forward. And as I said, I am international development major, but I have this hobby of drawing and designing since childhood. So when I decided to do this while I was in India and then reached out to Martha regarding my passion, so we were able to incorporate both fields and empower women in developing country, but also, you know, spread the beautiful products that the locals can actually enjoy. Shop Local has been extremely instrumental because that's where we grew. That's where we grew as entrepreneur. I didn't have a way to open my business. We tried different ways with Martha, but at that time there were no other opportunities. And when she reached out, I was so thrilled to take the opportunity to work with other vendors and artists and grow there and eventually graduate. And of course that was pandemic. And then I did open my own shop in the middle of pandemic, and people were thinking that it's not a good idea, but I was inspired by the Women Business Center, and I believed in the dream, and I thought that we can all, you know, pursue our dreams and be organized, disciplined, and move forward. And that's where we are. I'm in the heart of Rockville Town Square, and I'm extremely thankful to the grants that I received, to the advice, which I continue to receive every day.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. And Aisha, come on, because you are another graduate. I congratulate you, Lily, for graduating from the incubator. Maria, that will be you one day. And while we're waiting for Aisha, one of the common themes that I'm hearing, same as with childcare, it's the one-on-one technical assistance and the guidance and the organization and the tools that I keep hearing Maryland Women's Business Center is giving you. Aisha, hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on the panel.
Welcome. So you are a graduate, and unlike your colleague, Lily, you've ventured a little further away from the incubator in Rockville, I understand. Where is your operation based now?
I'm in Leisure World Plaza in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm in one of the, I occupy one of the spots that is on the plaza. I have 3,000 square footage. I'm grateful for it.
And what do you do? Tell us a little bit about what your primary business is now, and then also, because I had a sneak peek, the good work that you did at the beginning of COVID. That's two different questions, I know.
All right, so my name is Aisha Jamila Kadabangura. I'm the Shabby and Shaz Creations. I'm a local manufacturer here in Silver Spring, Maryland. I moved here 4 years ago, and the first place I needed to knock doors on was Women Business Center, because I was affiliated with the Women Business Center in Rhode Island. So I was paired with Martha, who has been my mentor, my friend, my guidance, my to-go-to, my ride and die. So when I started, my business was already established, but I didn't have the business structure as I needed to. So she has been a mentor of mine to guide me in the business structure-wise, provide resources, guidance, and to empower my business to be debt-free. So that was our first goal, was to make sure that, yes, that I'm debt-free. Then I was invited to the incubator program. I was there for a year at the Rockville Town Center, where I partnered with other entrepreneurs, which has really, that was a trying time for me, because I was used to running everything by myself. So now I have a cohort of women to rely on for support, for guidance, for togetherness, because we all had one mission, and that mission was to make sure that our businesses succeed. And after during the pandemic, Montgomery County had helped me with a grant to be able to make sanitizers during the epidemic, to be able to share the sanitizers with the frontline workers, fire departments, healthcare providers. So that grant came from Montgomery County, and I was privileged and honored to be able to provide my community with much needed resources that it needed at that time. So from that grant came me and Martha actually sitting down now to try to structure me to get to this location. So location, we went through how to choose a location, what resources were available to me in the county, what departments in the county I needed to reach to for licenses, for permits to be able to occupy the space we're in. So I make all natural, all organic skin correctional products, anywhere from eczema, psoriasis. So that's my base core. Then of course I got overzealous during the pandemic to find an extra way of making income, because I already had a social media presence, which was guided also by the Women Business Center. So I have a huge social media following. So during the pandemic, I was fortunate not to lose income because of my online shops that I had. I'm also a certified manufacturer on Amazon.com. I'm also a certified manufacturer on Walmart.com, all through the leadership, the tutelage, and the mentorship of the Women Business Center. And the one thing that I will say about this whole thing is, as you get into the system, you got to remember you're giving your 9 to 5 from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight. So when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to push yourself the extra mile. You have to be willing to listen to criticism and take those criticisms and make it a goal that you have to accomplish, from getting your business plan together, getting your finances in order. Montgomery County Women's Business Center led you to somebody that can hold your hand and guide you through that step to establishing a strong foundation business so we can thrive even in the epidemic. I made 3 times the income I made before the epidemic, during the epidemic. So that tells you that if I can do it and I'm lazy, you can do it. You have to go get the resources. You have to push yourself. You cannot be lazy. This is your passion. This is what makes our economy thrive. So we all have to be able to do that. I tell people I'm a Montgomery County success story, because I knock on every door. I will go, I will go, I will go. You got to keep doing that, because your business life depends on that. I was fortunate to get the 3D reopening grants. I was fortunate to get the manufacturer grants. I was able to get the LPF grants. So all these grants have helped empowered me to be able to even hire during the pandemic. I'd hired 14 staff during the pandemic, and that staff, I'm hoping that I can quadruple that by next year. So it is part of your money helping local businesses like us to empower our economy. For that, we can never, ever tell you how grateful we are for that opportunity that this community serves through the Women Economic Development.
Well, that is a great testimonial, and I'm working for the county, but I'm working for you and for anyone here who lives in Montgomery County. It's your resources who have helped these great entrepreneurs get off the ground. That and your persistence and your patience and your creativity and clearly a lot of technical assistance. And Julio and Annie and Nestor, feel free to come back on and show your smiles. Obviously, all of you have been working hard. I do want to recognize, Martha mentioned it quickly, but I know that Federal Realty and the city of Rockville and Rockville Economic Development have all been key partners in the Shop Local Retail Incubator. I want to
Yeah.
recognize them, and the Maryland Women's.
And Montgomery County Economic Development, Julie, because thanks to them, they could receive a grant as well.
That's true. I see.
was
Dan-
so
Daniel
important.
Is on the is on our webinar. I saw a chat from him, Daniel Para, and I heard you mention the manufacturing grant. So we at the county are grateful for all the community partners, of which you are one, but so is LEDC, so is the Montgomery County Child Care Council that you referenced. So it takes a village is truly true. And right here on the screen, we have people some who moved to the country, some who didn't, some who just shared with us that they became single mothers, all of you who have persisted through the pandemic and are providing livelihoods not only for yourself, but for others. And so we want to say thank you. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat. We're almost out of time, but the main purpose here was to showcase a resource that can help your business grow that's right here in your backyard, and that is the Maryland Women's Business Center. And while we focused a lot today on childcare and retail, they also will help, like Joyce, the person who asked about if she could have assistance from them for a healthcare practice. But you also work with biotech companies and with restaurants,
Every industry.
with every type of industry. And while you work across the state of Maryland, we're particularly proud for the work that you do for your clients here. And Montgomery County is supporting some of that work, right, Martha?
Absolutely. Yes, Montgomery County is our biggest performer. We also have location in Frederick and Bowie attending, Prince George and Frederick County. But like you said, Judy, if we don't have question, the message that I really want to leave today is, if you are a business owner or you have a business idea, please don't do it by yourself. You're not alone. Montgomery County is such a beautiful county, full of beautiful resources available for you, free for you. We are helping you in many different areas. Don't run your business by yourself. Go to your place. Call us. If you are in a childcare industry, we know how difficult it is to run that kind of business, specifically in this moment. Please don't feel afraid. Call us. We have a good staff to assist you if you're in the retail industry as well. But if you are not in retail or in childcare, you are in biotech, you are in procurement, whatever industry you are running right now, please call us. We are prepared to assist you. We are the hospital of the business, and you are not alone. This is the message for all of you.
That's a great message, and thank you for sharing it. And that is the message we want to leave you with it from the Office of the County Executive at Montgomery County. If you're in these fields, or if you're doing something different, if you have a permitting issue, if you have a licensing question, we have a business advancement team that's here to help you. We do have partners at the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation that was just referenced. Shoot us an email. I have my email address here. If you have any questions that we can help you with. We also want to take your suggestions for things we can do to make doing business in Montgomery County better, easier. The county executive has worked with Mitra at permitting, Ash in procurement to make some of our county systems better, but there's always room for improvement. So we want you to use these forums to tell us what we can do better. And also, if you are a business that has been able to use Montgomery County resources, like the entrepreneurs we saw today, tell us, and you want to be spotlighted on one of these programs, tell us about yourself and the resource you used, and we'll be happy to share your story. So thank you all. A quick heads up that to keep an eye out for your emails for more word about the grants that's coming up. Every entrepreneur who's here today on the show is likely eligible to apply for that online sales assistance and telework grant. And we will see you, one of my colleagues or I will see you here in 2 weeks at Montgomery County Business Connections. Thank you all. Have a good weekend.
So, thank you.